Ladies and gentlemen, it is 5 a.m. here in London, and today is a big day because I'm on my way to Manchester to film Dragon's Den. I've learned so much from being on Dragon's Den, so much. I'm going to tell you about some of those things as this episode continues. But the big thing I wanted to show you in this episode is behind the scenes in Dragon's Den. Something I, as a viewer of Dragon's Den since I was 12 years old, have always wanted to see. What does it look like behind the scenes? What do the entrepreneurs see? I'm gonna show you as much of that stuff as I possibly can. I'm also gonna do something else that I've always wanted to see as a viewer and as a fan of Dragon's Den. I'm gonna answer the top 10 most popular questions about Dragon's Den that no one seems to tell us and no one seems to answer. I'll do that at the end of this episode. And you know, when I joined Dragon's Den, I'll save this, I need to go to Manchester. I'm gonna continue this conversation in a couple of minutes in this episode because I need to get on the train and get up to Manchester.
Is your 0629 emergency West Coast service to Manchester City?
Okay, we've just arrived in Manchester. It always feels like home when I get to Manchester because I spent about 7 years of my life in the city. Really, this is where it all happened for me. So I do feel like home, but I feel this real strong affinity and sense of gratitude to the place because yeah, these are the streets. These are the streets that I arrived as an 18-year-old kid with these, you know, big dreams about starting in business and doing something interesting with my life and total belief that it would all figure itself out one way or the other. And then these are the streets that I became a university dropout in a couple of weeks after arriving here, and persisted to start a business and then start another business and struggled my way around and worked in loads of call centers here, from car insurance to selling hotel rooms to selling studio vouchers. And I walked past tower blocks like Beacon Tower and say, one day I'm going to have an apartment in there, and the apartments were £1,000 a month, and it was my dream in life. So when I come here, it's full of nostalgia, and I'm really excited about it. I'm always really excited when I arrive back to film Dragon's Den. This is my 3rd year. It's an honour to be back on the show, and I'll talk to you more about it when I get to my hotel, when I get settled a little bit, because there's a lot I want to say about Dragon's Den, and there's a lot of questions that I've never really answered before, so come with me. I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm freaking out because I'm going in my mind, I'm going down memory lane and thinking about that kid, like that 12, 13-year-old kid. And I think there was part of me that even at a young age, when I'm 14, 15, 16, believes that the way out of the life I was in, where we didn't have much and all the arguments in our home were about money and the shame and the insecurity that I had as a young man, all centered around money and being different and not having enough or not feeling like I was enough. Dragon's Den to me almost felt like this opportunity to dream. And I would sit there at 12, 13 years old watching the show, and I would pretend I was the 6th dragon. There's also actually footage of me from when I was 25 showing a diary entry from when I was 18, where at 18 years old I had applied for Dragon's Den. What does this say? Okay, so I've sent my application off for Kickstart and for Dragon's Den. Today I'll also finish an application to do Shell Livewire. This is another way for me to make money. So at this point I didn't have any investment.
Stephen, welcome to the Den.
Honestly, thank you. It's a privilege and honour, and I couldn't be more excited. But I have to say, you know, I had many dreams in my life, many, many, many dreams. Many of them have come true, but I never dreamt of, I never thought that was maybe a dream too far. It is the morning of Dragon's Den. About to hit the gym, very, very, very tired, but these moments in my life are all about discipline and not motivation, because I really don't feel like going to the gym today, but I know in these moments to act on my knowledge, not my emotions, which means do what I know I should be doing, not how I feel, because right now I feel really tired, but I know if I don't go to the gym, I'm gonna regret it, so that's what I'm gonna do this morning. Hit the gym, hit it hard,
go to Dragon's Den, do my best. That's my day. In between my breaks, between pitches and Dragon's Den, do as much work as I can across Third Web, across Flight Story, across my Diary of a CEO business, across my investment portfolio. The priority number one right now is to hit the gym, so here we go.
Every time I do Dragon's Den, which is for about 2 months in total every year, first thing in the morning, I hit FLF, my favourite gym here in Manchester, and I try and get a real good exercise in. Heading to the hotel now, have breakfast, and head over to the set.
The other thing that makes a big difference to me when I come up here to film Dragon's Den is I'm going to be on set now for 20 days in total across about 2 months. I'm doing 4 days here in Manchester this week. So all of my teams that rely on me across Flight Story, across Flight Story Fund, across my venture business, across Third Web, and the whole of the Diary of a CEO team won't be able to contact me ordinarily. Which means that in these gaps, so when I'm not on set in pitches with entrepreneurs on Dragon's Den, in the gym this morning, I have to find as many pockets as I can to go through my to-do list. I have this thing called Microsoft To Do, and all of my team members have their own list, so they can send me things that I need to approve, look at, and see, and they all put it on there. And so in my breaks this morning, let me just check if I can show you them. A list of 26 things that I have to do. From Sophie, who's my assistant alone, and she said, Steve, please can you try and take a look at your list before you go into the den, because she knows that I'm going to be hard to contact. And it's the same with my manager. My manager's given me 7 things I need to do this morning. And I'll go through all of these things and I'll just respond yes, no, more detail, etc., super fast. And that means that they can get on with their jobs and I'm not a bottleneck. And also, while I'm doing Dragon's Den, the big thing I have to do is empower them just to make decisions. My book actually is announced this morning, and my team, because I'm up here, are gonna do that for me. They know what I want to say because we had a conversation last week, which means I can focus.
They're changing the ink on this because of the little
This doesn't look gold either, does it? It's quite strange how it doesn't look gold from the... Oh, I guess...
I think the gold looks quite good.
Oh.
It's only
I think it's
this
just
light
the lighting
shine is that
on-
you can see it now, right? With this lighting. Or you were thinking more like proper gold, like
Yeah,
it stands out
from,
even.
when I go like that.
Yeah, it's like it looks black.
And I wonder if you're walking down an aisle. It doesn't look gold, does it? If I go like that.
But I think
it does. Depends what angle you look
just
at.
by its just being reflective, it's going to be
Yeah.
like you're going to catch the light in different bits.
Do you know why I talk about the question behaviour effect in that habit podcast? Where when you ask a question, will you or should you, and it's a yes or no answer, people are more likely to. I talk about doing that in the book. So maybe we should deploy that there where that's a yes or no question. So will you come on this journey with me, or like, will you take the time to learn these laws? Will you learn the 33 laws? Yes or no? Well, you don't have to say yes or no, but that's the question behaviour effects that I talk about in the book.
Okay.
Honestly, if you just added my signature, changed that question,
Yeah.
made that the same size as that, and made the spacing the same space as that, then I'll be fine.
Okay.
My team are going to announce my book today across all of my social channels, which means I can focus, and I'm going to trust them to do that, which is obviously a lot of trust, but Grace Andrews is a killer, so I trust her.
Hi.
Hello, you alright? How are you? You look tanned.
Thank you for being away.
Where have you been?
Literally just Devon.
Oh, really?
For DJing. I'm gonna be a runner on Diary of a CEO.
Really?
That's my wish.
We're not hiring right now, but if anything opens up, I'll send you a letter.
I've got a good CV that I think would justify the position.
We've just not got a role first.
Oh yeah.
That's the only issue.
No. But do you know what? I want to do it so badly that I'm prepared to wait as long as it takes.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a call. I've got your fax,
You've got my facts.
so I'll send you a fax if something comes up.
I've pitched this diary for chairman,
Right.
but everybody thinks it's a pretty shit idea. So somebody said to call it CEO. As if that's going to take off.
People don't even know what a CEO is, do they?
That's arrogantly technical, isn't
Who
it?
wants to know about a diary of a CEO, you know? Anyway. Not many people fly these days, so they're not going to see it on airplanes and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, nobody looks up at billboards anymore. They're too small, looking after their own lives. Yeah. Anyway.
Give you a breather. You can breathe, you know, but it's just like
I don't really
it's
like...
natural to breathe.
But
Not like
if I breathe,
it
if I
makes
inhale.
you, yeah.
So if you fix your hair, there's a lip, just one little bit.
that's part of the style. I'll help do yours.
No, it's all right.
Right, here we go. Teamwork makes the dream work. Let's do this.
I know I'm
Oh
exhausted.
no! You need to get changed now, don't you? We'll get ready.
What sort of colour should we go for? Nice hue.
Right, Stephen, can you just take 10 years off me, please?
10 years, okay. Pass me the spray gun.
No, dude, don't you dare.
Can we just tell the BBC, look, I know they're budget cuts, but this is getting ridiculous. Where dragons have to do their own help with
Each other's makeup.
The worrying thing is, Stephen's actually doing quite a good job here.
I'll be the result of that.
He'll be the judge of that.
And look, take auto. Ladies and gentlemen, this is day 2 at Dragon's Den here in the BBC. I've got my coffee, again, something that an owl chronotype like me needs to get going. I don't need it. I hate when people say need. I don't need it. I want it. People always say need. We flippantly use that word and it's really not useful. If I say need the coffee, then I'm developing a dependency on it, because if I don't have it, then what happens with my life in my day? Who do I become if I don't have my coffee? I always say this to people, especially people close to me. They'll say, I just needed that. I just needed that coffee. I just needed that cigarette. No, you didn't need it. You wanted it. Have some power. Empower yourself. Don't disempower yourself with such language. Anyway, better get cracking. Try and wake my ass up. Let's do this.
Here on set at Dragon's Den, we've just wrapped filming. I have to say, this is my 3rd season on Dragon's Den and it's certainly my favourite ever. Lots of new things you're going to see in the den. There's only a couple of things I really can tell you about, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of a look behind the scenes. One of the things you might notice, you have a new set at Dragon's Den. We have Manchester as the backdrop now, and when all of this is lit up, it looks amazing. It's just brought a new energy to the den, really, which I really love. Come with me, I'm going to show you around. This is the lift work the entrepreneurs wait, and this is the view that the entrepreneurs have, and I think it's one of the most terrifying views in TV. And they walk in to the den, and they find their mark, and they introduce themselves. Gosh, that's hard. That's hard work. Let's see if we can look in the editing suite. After the pictures, we walk down through here, and that's basically the entirety of what goes on behind the scenes of Dragon's Den. I'll answer a few more questions, I'm just going to jump in the car. Oh, you've got the jacket in you?
Yes, I've hung it in the back.
God, I wish I'd taken my makeup off, I should have taken it off. What's the plan now? How you feeling?
Tired. Very tired. Long week. Long day. I was supposed to answer those questions, wasn't I?
Yeah.
We do upstairs.
Sit. Cool. Good doing business with you.
Okay, I need to deliver on a promise that I made you at the start of this episode. Thank you for getting to the end, and I told you at the start of this episode that I'd answer 10 of the most popular questions that I'm asked and that people ask about Dragon's Den. So on my phone, I've got a list of the questions. Question number 1, do dragons actually invest their own money? Yes, we do. I remember my first pitch, actually, I think it's the biggest investment I've done to date on air, which is £150,000 I invested in my first pitch, in my first season in the Den.
I really like the business, you know, and there's tons of challenges you'll face, but the most important thing that gives you conviction as an investor that those challenges won't be insurmountable are the entrepreneurs that stand before you. So I feel like you're here for me, and I also feel like I'm here for you. So I am gonna make you an offer, but I'm not going to suck the blood out of you like Peter just did.
I invested £150,000 of my money, into a technology company that is delivering cheese called Cheese Geek. My first investment, I really wanted it, Peter wanted it as well, so I was happy to win that one. Question number 2, what happens after the Den? So immediately after we make the offer with the entrepreneur, everybody leaves the Den, and behind the scenes, we'll meet them for the first time and shake their hands and say hello. And then our teams are immediately put in touch. And that's when the due diligence process begins. And we look at the business, we ask some further questions, and we check everything kind of adds up. And through that process, we'll then get to know each other, meet each other, and talk about how a relationship might look in the future. And that's one of my favorite things. In the episode that's just wrapped now, what I've already done is I've organized a meeting with the investments that I've made, to all of them to come to my office, to meet me one by one, and for us to talk and go through lots of details and due diligence and get to know each other. And I like to think that I have a close relationship with the entrepreneurs that I invest in the Den. Question number 3, do you wear earpieces? I've heard this a few times. I've heard this rumor circulating. I can finally bust the myth. Peter and Deborah have been there since the jump. I mean, Peter's been there since season 1 and Deborah's been there, I think, since season 3. Nobody can tell these guys what to say. They know what to say better than anybody on earth. They know how to be a dragon better than any producer could whisper into their ears. So it's all very, very real. What you see is exactly what you get on Dragon's Den, and we do not wear earpieces. Question number 4. Do you dragons get on outside of the Den? No, we hate each other, I'm joking. No, we get on like a house on fire. It's a really interesting situation where in the Den, in the heat of the deal, we can scrap a little bit and there can be some fire and some tension and all that stuff. But outside of the Den, we're mates. And you know, there's a little bit of a thing, I think, brewing between me and Tuka in terms of like public narrative that we're always at each other. In the Den, all is fair, right? But outside of the Den, I've got the most amount of respect for Tuka Solomon. I mean, there's that phrase, where respect your elders, and he's incredibly wise, he's a masterful businessman. However, this is Dragon's Den and this is TV. It's the show that I grew up loving, watching. I love the fire of it. I love the competitiveness of it. And so I think part of me when I became a dragon and joined the Den was I was keen to keep that fire in the Den, which means that if you want something and you disagree, then you say it, because I love that part of that show. I think people are receptive to it. I think people are enjoying it, and I hope they are. I think this year's the best year. I think we're all a lot more comfortable with each other now, and I think that makes for a lot better TV, you know? So I hope you enjoy this season. Next question, question number 5, kind of links to the last question. Are the arguments real?
Don't worry about pizza.
It's like, what's
Don't
the
worry
point?
about pizza.
One at a time.
The new upstart. Come on, give me a break.
What do you know about business?
What do I know about business?
Oh, come on, please, stop. I'm telling you exactly what I think.
And I'm telling you what I think.
Oh, maiden, that one cut deep.
I want 25% of the business.
Vampire.
Yes, they are real. And again, it's hard to explain how you can be friends with somebody, but at the same time, incredibly competitive and want to win when a business comes in that you really, really want. And do you know what happens with me? And I've never really said this before, but when a business walks in and they start doing their pitch and I listen to the founders and I kind of fall in love with the founders and the story and the product and all that stuff, my hands start to get clammy and I start to get a bit nervous in my chair and I start to move around a little bit because I know war is coming. That's the only way I can describe it. I know a battle is about to ensue. Typically what happens is after the pitch has gone on for some time, the dragons will fall silent a little bit. And this is when you know that they've all ran out of questions, and now it's like a game of cards. Who's going to show their hand first? And in some ways, when you make an offer in the den, you've got to be careful to not put yourself too high that you'll lose the deal, and not put yourself too low that you'll inadvertently undervalue yourself in the entrepreneur's eyes. So it is a real game of like poker and negotiation and persuasion. And there's been a few times in the den where, and even this year, you'll see on TV when it airs, where the other dragons might place themselves at this percentage. And I think to myself, well, I think I'm the best dragon for this business. So I'm going to put myself in a little bit higher. I'm going to ask for a little bit more of a percentage of the business because I think I can bring more value here. And I think that's the right signal to send to the entrepreneur. If I undercut the other dragons, then I might send a signal to the entrepreneur that I'm not as valuable. And it's all of that stuff. It really is a game of chess that's going on in the den. And if you look at the way the dragons structure their deals and the offers they make, there's a story within the way that they structure their offers, which sometimes people don't see. They kind of see it as maybe a random thing or a math calculation. And that's what I've come to learn. And I love that about the den. The next question, so yeah, to answer your question, listen, I go off on these bloody tangents. To answer your question, the arguments are incredibly real. Question number 6. How is Dragon's Den filmed? It's filmed over the space usually of about 2 months. It's usually 3 or 4 days a week for those 2 months. And we see about 100 entrepreneurs a year. So that's a lot of entrepreneurs. And bear in mind, some of those pitches are 2 hours long. I think some of the longer ones are, there's been one in the den that's almost 3 hours long. 6 a day sometimes. And yeah, there's a big team behind the scenes that pull it all together, a huge team at the BBC. It really is a fantastic show. As I said earlier in this vlog, it's such an important show, I think. It inadvertently gives people a way to dream and inspiration about how they might start their own business and they might pitch it. And it tells them about the world of investing and how they might raise capital and just the diversity of ideas you see. It must be an incredible, well, it was for me when I was younger, just an incredible source of inspiration. Next, question number 7. What is your relationship like with the entrepreneurs after the den? Okay, so once the deal has been made, I reach out to all of the entrepreneurs that I've done a deal with. We start the due diligence process. And if the due diligence process passes, then all of the entrepreneurs come to my office in London. We sit down and we make a plan for the future. So they meet me, we look at the business, we look at where we can make immediate gains and where we might be able to help. And every business needs something completely different. So whatever they need, I try and pair that to somebody or something within my team or my portfolio or my companies. And then it's an ongoing relationship. With some of my Dragon's Den investments, I speak to them every day. And it would be weird. There's actually some deals that I've made in Dragon's Den in season 2, where if they didn't message me on a day, I'd think there was something strange going on. So it varies is the answer. Question number 8. What are you looking for in the den? My thesis on great investments has evolved as I've been a dragon. When I started in Dragon's Den, I thought the job of a dragon, and I say this because I hadn't done a lot of an early stage investing, but this was my first real experience in investing at such an early stage. I'd done 1 or 2 things. I think my first ever investment, was actually in a brand called Adenola. I was the first ever investor in the company. I put in £30,000. Before they'd even launched the company. That business is absolutely killing it. Once upon a time, I thought it was about investing in a product, but the truth is, as I came to learn, sometimes in a painful way, that a bad entrepreneur with a great product is a bad investment. A seemingly bad product or a product you don't understand with a great entrepreneur tends to be a good investment. And the reason I say that is because oftentimes you don't understand the product and its market fit. You don't understand the market because you've not been in the market as an investor. So if someone comes in, I don't know all of the characteristics of the cupcake business and industry. So I'm unable to make really accurate forecasts as to whether their product that they're showing me in the den fits the market they're trying to sell it to, the problem they're trying to solve for. But what I can predict, so my point here is that I'm looking for great individuals because I can't predict how your business is going to fit the market if I've never been in that market before. But I can predict if your character traits are going to help you to succeed and pivot and shoulder roll and persevere when all the cards are stacked against you. And that's the nature of business. Question number 9. Who's your favorite dragon? I get asked this all the time. My favorite dragon is, I'm going to be honest here. I love Tuka. He's such a sweetheart. He's like, we call him Uncle T. He's like kind of like my dad in a way. Sarah Davis is like my mate, kind of like my sibling, to be honest, because we're not far off in age, and we kind of get on like siblings and mates. And then you've got Deborah and Peter. And you know, as I said earlier, they've been there from the jump, and so I still freak out about the fact that I sit in between them on Dragon's Den. Genuinely, like, every year, even though it's my 3rd year this year, every year there's a moment where I just look over and I'm like, whoa. And then I look to my right and I'm like, fuck, that's Deborah Meaden, you know? Never get old. I don't want it to get old. I want to keep that feeling. But going back to my question, Deborah and Peter, I still freak out that I sit in between them and that I get to work with them on the show, because they're legends, aren't they? They're like national treasures. So I'm gonna have to say that they're my favourite dragons. And the final question, what is your most successful deal? Okay, so I don't have any favourites in Dragon's Den. And it's funny because success to me in the Den means something different for every business. And some businesses you're going, oh, they might get to this, you know, level. And then some businesses you go, success will be if they get here. And then other businesses, success for you is actually partly just making sure the founder gets financial freedom in their own life. And then whatever else is left over is just a bonus and a win. However, in Dragon's Den, last year in season 2, I invested in a company called Perfect Ted, with 3 phenomenal founders, Levi, Teddy, and Marissa, the CEO. And Teddy and Marissa came into the Den.
Hello, dragons. I'm Marissa.
I'm Teddy, and we're the founders of Perfect Ted, the brand on a mission to spread positive energy. So we're here today to ask for £50,000 in return for a 5% stake in our business.
They were fantastic. Everything I look for. Great, resilient, culturally aware, savvy, vibrant, youthful, energetic founders who had created a product that I feel like is right on the money in terms of culture.
When Marissa moved to London last year, we quit our jobs in finance and created an on-the-go solution. The UK's first matcha-powered energy drinks, flavoured with real fruit, so that everyone else could feel as amazing as we did. Our drinks will keep you energized for twice as long, improve your focus, and give you the antioxidants you need to look as young as Stephen.
Oh, thank you.
Really?
Excuse me. That was wrong. You should have said as young as Chuka, because he's the oldest.
Well, this is. Is there anything wrong with this business?
I mean, I'm terrible to work with.
No.
He's a delight.
No, but look at it's really interesting.
I'm going to make you an offer as well. I'm going to offer you all of the money for 10% of the business as well. Lots of people are sick of these kind of like jittery causing, crash causing energy drinks, and they made this product called Perfect Ted, which is a beautiful, delicious matcha energy drink without all the crap in it. I'm going to say Perfect Ted, and their sales went from, I'm allowed to say this because they gave me permission to post it a couple of weeks ago on my LinkedIn, so I can repeat it. Their sales went from, I think before the Den, I think roughly £9,000 a month, to after the Den, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds every month. And it happened very quickly. And it's because they are exceptional founders who are executing exceptionally well, who've hit a moment in culture where there's been a macro shift, and they're working hard. And I love that for them. I really love that for them, because good people, they are good people. And that is what the Den is about. It's about people coming in who saw something, had an idea, went through the hard yards of creating something, which is not easy. We can all have ideas on the sofa. Those are sofapreneurs, but an entrepreneur is someone that executes upon it and does something about it. And that is the hard part, going from 0 to 1, to get to the point where you can walk into the Den in those big glaring lights in front of 5 scary looking dragons and give it everything, and you can get a deal done, and you can change your life. And that's what Dragon's Den is all about. And so I love that business. I need to sleep. But let's make a deal. This Sunday, we uploaded the first episode of this vlog 2 weeks ago. And my objective and Will's objective is to upload this every single Sunday. So I'm gonna make you a deal. If this channel hits 50,000 subscribers, I promise you that for 1 whole year, I will upload an episode of this vlog every Sunday without fail at the same time. Do we have a deal? I can feel Will turning in his bed right now because it's not easy, but it's worth it. Do we have a deal? Hit the subscribe button. If we hit 50,000 subscribers, I promise you I will upload this vlog every week on Sunday at the same time. I think we have a deal. I need to go to bed. I'm so tired. It's been a crazy, crazy couple of weeks. Thank you for watching. Mwah. See you next week on Sunday.